Yeah, I'm gonna try to live stream this also on YouTube, so we'll see if this works. But some of you can go back and watch on YouTube on my channel if you want to. Let's see if it works. There we go. I'm gonna try to live stream this also on YouTube, so we'll see if this works. But some of you can go back and watch on YouTube on my channel if you want to. Let's see if it works. There we go. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today is Easter Sunday, March 31st. I'm really excited to have you all here today. I actually have a special guest too, so you hang in there long enough and watch this. I'm going to cover today the top 10, I think, lessons to learn about points and miles. And if you have the right strategy early on, I think it's going to help you a lot. I don't think anyone else kind of described it this way, but at least this is the way I look at it. And I think I've kind of gone back. Sometimes it's hard to break it down to top 10, but maybe I'll do top 10 plus one as a bonus. But I want to kind of cover some of the things I think if you're brand new to points and miles, or even if you're intermediate, I think these are important things that you maybe oversight. You can read blogs, you can watch YouTube videos, but a lot of times I feel a lot of it is self-taught, self-study. And so I'm going to try to give you my background a little bit and how I kind of came to be in this space, and then a little bit about how this can be able to help you as you're growing and learning about points and miles. Okay, so with no further ado, let's get it started. Share the screen. All right. Everyone see my screen here? Yes, that's good. All right. Welcome. So I'm going to cover today a little bit of the top 10 tips that I think are important. I'll cover it, and I'll start off a little bit about myself. If this is your first time joining me, I've been teaching points and miles now. Honestly, I've probably been teaching not as a business, but just in general, probably for the last 6 or 7 years. Decided to turn this into business back in 2022. I quit my job so I can be able to dedicate my time to do this full time to help folks learn it. Many of us are part-time doing it as we do it. A lot of us are hobbyists. That's how I started. I mean, I loved it. I breathed it. My wife pretty much told me I had two choices. Either I stop doing this because it's taking up so much of my time, or I figure out how I'm going to monetize this and not waste your time. I spent a lot of time doing this, and I want to help you do this as well. So back in 2022, around June, I started off with the masterclass with hotels, or Hotel Secrets masterclass, because no one else really runs that. And then by September, October, I opened up the airline masterclass. And today I also have a mentorship where we teach regularly every week on Thursday. And this week we have a special session with Tom Kim, who's been around Point Smile for a number of years. Last week, we just did with a mentorship, my intermediate and advanced folks, a session on flus. We did a session on travel insurance. The week before that, we did a session on Alaska Airlines. So we'll take topics and we'll dive deep into it. So usually it'll be a credit card week, an airline week, a hotel week, and a guest speaker week. And this month we have Tom Kim coming. We have the master class for airlines starting on April 8th to 11th. So there won't be a mentorship class that week, but we'll have the master class. And then on the third week, we'll have a special guest with on airlines. We're going to be covering Air France Flying Blue as well as Qatar Airways Avios. So we'll cover two programs, and we have a guest speaker with the Miles couple, which I'm really excited about. They fly a lot of points and miles around. They're based in DC. And we have them as a guest speaker. And then the final week, we'll be covering credit cards. We'll be discussing some of the perks of the differences between the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Capital One Venture X, because there's a lot of conversation this week about the whole restaurant and airport and passport restaurants, priority pass restaurants and things like that. I think are really, really important. All right. The chat is open. If you want to ask any questions, you can. Feel free to do that there. And if you have any questions, go ahead and just drop it in there. My airline masterclass is coming up on 8th, 9th, 10, 11. Okay. Truth be told, I'm kind of giving you guys a preview, a little bit of what we're going to cover. If you haven't taken masterclass with me, if you think it's basic, it is not. My intermediate and advanced is very intermediate. and very advanced, but we'll take you through the process. I would encourage you, if you have been doing a lot of self-study, to come take a look at the mentorship. It's for my intermediate advanced folks, but it's very welcoming. But I'll take you to all the deep things that you want to go into. The masterclass is really designed for those who said they're a 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. We're going to talk about how choosing the right credit card is important, improving your credit score, earning points and using points so that you can be able to earn cards as often as you want. Then we go to session 2 the next day. It's 2 hours each. We'll cover the airline sweet spots, how to redeem and earn points. Then we'll cover on day 3 the loyalty programs, the elite programs that I think you can do without having to even fly. Just literally through spend, you can be able to become a top tier elite. And then on session 4, we'll talk about how to actually do the bookings versus cash and upgrades and airport lounge access, VIP experience, and things like that. And I actually have a very special guest today with us, all the way from Switzerland, who will be joining us and talking as our surprise guest speaker, and talk a little bit about his big announcement today. We're really happy to have, he's here to share with us that we have with Kevin Zane, the point analyst. So I'm really excited to have Kevin here join us. Let me start off with this. So today we're going to talk about what is award travel, or what is some people call travel hacking. I don't like to use the word travel hacking, so to speak, because sometimes the word hacking sometimes has a connotation that we're doing something illegal. I just want to clarify with you. Everything that I'm going to talk about are things that are within the rules and regulations. Are there things that happen outside the rules and regulation? Yes, there are. Will we discuss that? We may, if it comes up. And if it does, I'll let you know. Yeah, there's risks involved. Anytime you do anything, there's risks involved. There's things that are more risk, and then things that are less risk. I'm not going to tell you things about things that I think could potentially shut your account down and things like that. There are things that are out there, and I just want to clarify with you, there's a lot of things out there that you may not even know to earn points can be done. And some of them are fine. Some of them are within terms and conditions. Some of them are outside terms and conditions. It depends on what your moral capacity is with some of these things. But I won't tell you do anything that would be considered illegal or wrong in that sense. But if you do the things that you're supposed to do, you can earn free flights. You can earn upgrades for free. You can earn free hotel stays. You can also use points. And we'll also talk about cash. And when does cash make sense? See, there's a certain stage. There's a stage where you go, I don't know anything about points and miles, and I start. Then there's a point where you come in and you go, wow, I love points and miles. I'm only going to use points and miles. And then you're going to get eventually to the stage where I kind of find you're advanced, where you realize like, well, this is not a good value if I use my points this way. I should use my points in better ways. And then you start thinking about using cash. And then you realize there's time for cash, and then there's time for points. Here's my philosophy on it. If the cash rate is low, you should pay cash. If the cash rate is high, you should use points. I'm just making it really clear, because I want you to think it's not about using points every time. Because if you can find a $100 ticket, why would you spend 25,000 points when you could save your 25,000 points and get a much better redemption somewhere else and save save those points for those scenarios? Unless you're like Kevin and you earn lots and lots of points all the time, then that's a different conversation. Okay. When I got started I'll tell you quickly, when I first got started, this is like 2009. I was a business traveler for about like 4 or 5 years, and I was using a debit card. I kid you not, I was using a debit card, and I didn't understand credit. I was getting reimbursed. That was the worst part. I was flying for business, and they were letting me reimburse on my own card, and I didn't do it. So for years, I look back on it now, and I'm like, I should have got a credit card, at least got reimbursed for all those things. And these are simple things. So why would you not use it? Can someone tell me, why would I not? I mean, it made no sense. I should have. And when I first got involved in Points Mile, I remember going to my first conference, the Chicago seminar in 2015. I totally had imposter syndrome. I did not believe I belonged there, even though I read every single day. I've been now at least 2 years into it. My wife, see, the thing is, I took my wife to this hotel called La Quinta. And if anyone's ever been to La Quinta Inn, not the one in Palm Desert, but the La Quinta Inn, I had 2 free nights because I had reached top tier status. I was staying there over 30 nights a year. And I ended up taking her on these 2 free nights to San Diego. And after the 2 nights, she told me, yeah, this is your idea of vacation. I'm not interested anymore in your vacation. I'd rather stay home. It's more comfortable at home than being on the road like this, because it wasn't really a resort. And it wasn't really something, a vacation that you should really take your family on unless you had to stop somewhere and then you stayed there. But I was so enthralled with the fact that I could do a free stay, but I didn't realize I could do better stays than that. And so I finally changed a job. I got a new job. I started exploring different properties like Hilton, Hyatt, IHG. And from coming from La Quinta, everything was great. Everything was great. There was nothing bad because from where I came from. And then I realized like points miles is something I could have discovered a little bit a lot earlier, and I could have been able to do it better. But we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have any of those things. We had to meet face to face. And I found out that there was a whole market of people who met face to face. And I went to Chicago seminars. Okay. And I met people. And here's the interesting thing. All the people I met there were either senior citizens or they were 20-year-old tech kids. The 20-year-old tech kids were the ones who write the scripts to be able to read all the verbiage. The senior citizens had all the time in the world to travel, and they're like, I'm not going to get into my nest egg, so let me see how much I can travel because I have the time now and see how I can do points and miles. So you had these two generations in points and miles. There was no family travelers. I mean, the few that were there, they were lawyers and engineers because they like reading and they're into these things. So I found that there was a lot of reading involved in it because that was the only way that you could be able to, we didn't have Instagram and things like that. Now we do, but now we get over inundated with all these videos and things like that. So that's the reason why I put the masterclass is to kind of condense it all for you, if that makes sense. Okay. But I really feel like there was a lot of, there was a turning point around 2016 with the Chase Sapphire Reserve coming out that really created an opportunity for people to make it mainstream. Okay, here's my first tip. By the way, I'm going to do this little game with you. My first lesson, by the way, lesson is spelled wrong, and I apologize. I do know how to spell, is credit. We're going to talk about this because I think it's one of the first things, okay? Applying for a lot of credit cards, sometimes a myth that's going to hurt your credit. Many of us have more than one who do this long term. And learning about it rather than believing in the myth is the most important thing. You're going to learn about credit when you apply for it. You're going to learn about credit when you're going to learn how to manage it. And if you're going, Ben, I don't have good credit. Well, then let's work on doing that first before we even do points and miles. Learn on doing that, because if you do, you're going to earn a lot of points and you're going to earn a lot of miles. You're going to earn a lot of free travel. Okay. There was a time when it wasn't credit card based so much, but today it is. And so in this day and age, this is important for you all to learn how this can be able to provide for your next vacation. Okay. I want to mention here, I won't go to a ton of these things, but just think about this. When I was using my debit card, it was linked to my bank account. That means if there was a transaction that didn't belong to me, that was out of my account, it didn't build my credit, and I didn't earn any points and miles. Okay. I didn't got anything. Today, if you use credit, you're using the bank's money. So if there's a fraudulent, it's their money and they can put a hold on it, not my money. There's more consumer protection. You have an incredible tool to build your credit, and then they report to the major reporting agencies. So then that makes your score better. So when you buy a house, when you buy a car, when you're financing something, you're going to pay less interest than somebody who's never had credit. And then lastly, you're going to earn really valuable points. It's going to help you. So that's the reason why we need to learn about that. Okay. I will mention just a couple of things about your credit score. And this is important when you first get started, is that a lot of people don't realize that 5 things that make up your credit score, 2 things are really important, which is making your payment history on time. That means just making at least minimum or more. You don't have to pay the full amount. Although if you pay the full amount, you won't pay interest. But as long as you make at least minimum or more, you check off the payment history box. Okay. If you have a lot of credit, it's good. If you don't use much of it, even better. So here's the thing, just because you have a high credit line, that's going to help you score a lot. So every time you get approved for a new credit card, your credit line goes up because you have a lot more credit than you did before you applied. So that actually helps your score. And too many people focus too much on the new credit piece of it, which is the application. That's not to say that's not important. That's 10% of your score, but that's not more than 30. That's not more than 35. So it's a smaller part. It is a fact. And I would say don't apply more than every 90 days at max. Okay. Can you apply more than that? You can, but it takes about 2-3 months to minimum get your score back to where it was before. And then credit history, being added as an authorized user, having a long history, not doing what I did. When I got started, I closed out my oldest account because I was afraid that the new bank wouldn't give me credit because I already had credit from another bank and I've been around a long time. But I realized when I closed it out, I lost the amount owed because I closed out my credit line, so that lost it. I also lost all my payment history as well as my credit history. So those things really affect your account when you're getting a personal account. So consider getting a business account, okay? Let me give you a little background on how these points are done. So the banks really own this process. So let's say the bank is in the middle of this. You have hotels like Marriott, you have hotels like Hyatt, you have airlines like American. They have created their own point structure and they sell their points to the banks. The banks are actually buying the points from the airlines and the hotels. So that's actually how they finance. So during the pandemic, when none of the airlines are flying, when the hotels are empty, how did they stay in business? They sold their points and their miles that they had to the banks, and banks were buying them, and then they offer it to us in the form of a credit card when they offer us a sign-up bonus, a welcome bonus. And so that's how these points are generated. So you have to think about it. The bank is the one that's actually kind of financing this whole thing. And in the United States, we have the most lucrative program. In fact, AA CFO Derek Kerr during the pandemic actually said they had to leverage their loyalty program, and they said it was worth $30 billion. They took out loans using they had to put a value on the AA Advantage program. And it's worth more than Airbnb. I mean, their loyalty program is worth more than Airbnb. United, not to be outdone, says their program is worth $22 billion, the Mileage Plus program. So these are big programs that are out there with points and miles, okay? The second lesson I want to share with you, Chase. I'll just start up with that. Chase. Why is Chase important? Because you've all heard of the 524 rule. What that means is that if you're trying to get a Chase card or any of the Chase co-branded cards, you got a personal card personally, you have to be, you can't apply more than have been approved for more than 5 cards in the last 24 months. That includes Chase and any other bank. So they're really strict. So it's one of the ones you may want to consider early on when you first get started. They also are your entryway into World of Hyatt. They're also into United and Southwest. There's more, but I mean, those are like the primary ones you got to be thinking about. So if you're flying domestically and you want to get United miles, or if you live in a United hub, or if you live where there's Southwest, or you're looking at getting Companion Pass you hear about, or if you want to use World of Hyatt points, all those roads come through Chase. Okay, yeah, Bill has a relationship with World of Hyatt as well, but in generally speaking, Chase is going to be your biggest entry point into these airline program and this hotel program. So you have to understand how that rule works, okay? And look at all the cards they have. I mean, they got personal cards, they got business cards, they have co-branded cards. And the great thing about the Chase points is that they can be converted, and you can actually move your personal cards to your business points, or your business points into your personal card. And then you can move them eventually to the airline or the hotel of your choice. So there's a whole ecosystem, okay? Here are the 5 transferable programs I would consider getting: the Chase points, the Bill points, the American Express points, the Capital One, the Citi. I didn't put in there Wells Fargo yet, but they just joined the Chase now, and so now they are the 6th program now. So there's 6 rewards programs that are considered transferable out there for us as North Americans. Okay, lesson number 3, annual fee. I hear this a lot. I don't want to pay an annual fee. Well, if this is the reason that your strategy, your credit card strategy should not be around, I want to earn a lot of points and I don't want to pay a fee. If that is your mentality coming in, you're not going to earn many points, because many of the cards that earn a lot of points and give you a lot of bonuses, they're not for free. Basically, you're saying, I want a free card and I don't want to pay anything, and I want you to give me a lot of points, and I want to fly for free. Just think about that when it's exact. How is that supposed to work? But people do ask me that, but I want you to think about that. If you want a lot of rewards, it's going to be hard to say, I'm only going to have my credit card strategy around no annual fees. So the annual fee cards come with something that's going to give you back a lot more than you're paying. Let me speak. Your annual fee cards are going to pay you more than what you're paying out. And if they don't, then don't renew. And if they don't, they don't. Well, Ben, what happens in year 2, year 3? I don't want to pay forever. Who said anything about year 2, year 3? Every year you can make a decision whether you want to keep the card or not keep the card. But there's another thing you can do. You can downgrade the card. You can product change it from an annual fee to no annual fee card. Okay, so here's what I look. If I'm looking at American Express, here are all my annual fee cards. I got a bunch of annual fee cards. In the first year, you're going to pay annual fee. Okay, let's just say you will. Okay, don't try to avoid it. You will. The question is 60,000 points, is 90,000 points, is 100,000 points worth more than the annual fee? Because if it's worth more than the annual fee, then it's worth it to get it, right? Like here, if I said, if you give me $95, Eugene, I will give you back $700. Would you take that, Eugene? Eugene, it's interactive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from that perspective, thank you, Eugene. So from that perspective, the first year is always the case. Now, in the second year, they're not offering you that. They're not going to give you a big bonus. So in the second year, you could decide, maybe you want to move it to another card. Maybe you want to call them up and say, you know what, I'm not traveling as much as I did last year. Is there a way that you could be able to offer me some promotion? Do you have any promotion to kind of, you know, to defray some of my costs this year for annual fee? I'm just not going to use a card as much because your other cards are better for it. And they may offer you something. And if they don't, then you can move it to a card with no annual fee. But you still walked away with a bunch of points. Does that make sense? So I just want you to think year one and year two different things. Don't make your year one decision based on what you think you're going to hold the card forever. But Ben, am I not going to lose my history? No, not if you don't close it out on a personal card. You can always downgrade it to a no annual fee card if they have one, and you could still be able to keep your history. Does that make sense? You can also earn points, by the way. Rakuten. There's so many. I'm not going to get into today about like how you can earn points, but there's so many ways. But I'm going to say this. This is something that's probably in the last 5 or 6 years become a really big earner for a lot of people. If you're doing online shopping, you should always start at Rakuten or start off at Cashback Monitor and take a look, or AA Shopping Portal. There's all these things that you can be able to do to earn extra points, okay? And if you don't have a Rakuten account already, let me just put in my link here if you want to sign up. It's a shopping portal where you can earn extra points for all your, and it's a direct booking, and you'll earn extra American Express points if you have Amex points, okay? But here's a way you can earn points. Staying at hotels, signing up for the bank cards, the co-branded cards. There's a shopping portal. There's buying points. There's dining programs like your rewards network. You can also buy gift cards. There's a lot of ways to earn points. If you want to do more, we'll come in the masterclass. Okay, here's my little quiz for you. What do you think my fourth rule is? My fourth lesson I'm going to learn. It's one word, and I'm going to give you guys all a chance to guess in the chat. Here's my hint. My hint is this picture. What do you think it is? I already gave you one of my first three. Let's see if you pay attention. My number 4 is what? I doubt anyone's going to get it. You guys get, okay, whoever gets this right gets $100 off my class. I'm going to give you an extra 100 for getting this right. I'm going to keep on raising. I got no guesses. No guesses in the chat? Horses, not horses. Come on, see if we're paying attention here, all 18 of you. Or 17 of you. Anyone come participate? This looks like a newspaper.
Okay, this is Washington.
Yeah.
Newspaper.
Anything. It could be anything. What is my lesson number 4? Let's see. Let me see. I got 2 guesses here. New experiences. Okay. Building. Remember, this has to be a lesson I'm learning. Okay. You guys think, I think you guys are thinking too deep.
I know. I'm thinking about your congressman trying to take your points because this is Washington.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell the answer. I didn't see it. Oh, let me see. One more guess. Black and white. Oh, well, that's a good question. Black and white is a good one.
Jennifer's is a good answer.
What's her answer? Jennifer's answer is don't wait. Use points now. Oh, okay. That's close, but not exactly. There you go. My answer is history. It's from history. So my answer is very, very close. Jennifer was very good. Don't wait. I want you to learn from the past. I want you to learn from the past. Okay, let me give you. There's so much. Here's the thing. You meeting people who have done this longer than you, there's a lot to be learned. Why? Because Promotions come and go. Promotions get recycled. So let me give you an example. There's this guy called Dave, the pudding guy. Okay, have you guys ever heard of Dave the pudding guy? Dave the pudding guy, one time he walked into a store and he saw a soup, one of those Campbell soup things. And they said it offered him some points. And he went to go look at it and he's like, oh, okay. So he looked at it and he said, oh, you know what? The soup is this, but they gave him more points if he had, basically he had to he had to buy the pudding. And on the pudding there, if he turned it in, he got, does anyone remember back in the day you used to do Campbell soup labels? Anyone remember that stuff? And then I remember in school we used to do Campbell soup fundraiser. Anyway,
Totally.
remember that? Okay, so they did this with pudding, Catherine. Instead of the Campbell soup labels, they were doing it with pudding. So he was calculating the amount of points he could have gotten if he had bought the pudding. So he was like, at first it was like $1, but then he found like a Smart and Final store that was selling it, like giving away like a 99-cent discount store that was given away for 25 cents. So he's calculating, he's like, oh, great. So he goes in and talks to the manager, do you have any more? He's like, yeah. So he literally buys like cartons and he went to like 6 stores. Anyway, he had so many. He bought like $12,000 worth of pudding. Okay. Calculated if this thing worked, he would earn 2 million points. Okay, 2 million points. Now, or million points. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. He needs to take off all the labels and take off all the things and mail it. And he thought to himself, what can I do? Here's where mine comes in. He said, well, you know what? But what am I going to do? I'm going to open all this pudding and it's going to go to waste. So he contacts a local food bank. He contacts a local food bank, says, hey, if I give you a donation, can you guys take this? And he goes, yes, we would. But he goes, but I need you to open up and give me all the labels. He's like, no, we can't do that. Until he kept on calling until he found the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army, he did the deal with them. He said, can you pick up all this pudding? Because the contest was like due like in 6 days, like it was closing out. So he literally has the Salvation Army take all the labels, ship it to, they took all the labels off for him and they gave it to him. And he was able to get them to do it for free pretty much because he was making a donation. And because he made a donation to Salvation Army and he had the bill for it, he got a tax write-off. So he got a tax write-off and he submitted, he got all these points. He'd been flying for like 7 years after that. He becomes known as Dave the Pudding Guy. I tell you that story because when you see a promotion, it doesn't look, but then you go, how do you scale it? And some people take it to the next level and then they scale it, okay? Yeah, the Pepsi Fighter Jet one, that's a good one as well. Here's one of a guy that I actually know as well. This is JJ. JJ is one in my group here. JJ found a promo that said that if he rented a car from Hertz, they had a promotion with United. And he could earn up to 5,250 miles, okay, if he made one rental. So one rental was 5,250 miles. He lives in Las Vegas. He went down to his local store, his local rental car agency, and he rented a car. The car, he got it down to renting one a day. Then eventually he's like, let me go talk to the manager. And he talked to the manager and he said, I would like to rent more than one car. Is it possible if I could rent more than one car a day? And he said, yeah, sure. Well, what are you going to do with it? And he's like, well, I have this promo. He's very honest with them. He's like, there's this promo if I rent. And he goes, do you just want to rent it and not use it? So eventually he got to the point where he realized that he could just rent as many cars a day. So he would rent one per hour. I don't know how he got to 26, but he got to 26 cars in one day. Eventually he broke the whole system down, but he earned 1.2 million United miles, and it went on for a year. He would literally tell us he would go home. He didn't even have a car at that point. He sold his car because he would always have a car. And so he sold his car and didn't return it. And then he basically just rented the car every day. Some days he would go in there and just sit there and wait until they rented everybody out. Then he would go down and they would print out 26 contracts for him. And he would get 5,000 points for every one of them. And he got it down where he was paying no more than $23 a day. So he's paying $23 a day for the 5,200 miles. So he was basically buying the points, but he would basically print it out and they end up changing the terms and conditions. So it doesn't work like that anymore. He won't let you do it. But I want you to think there are ways for you to earn points. And I want you to stop thinking like you cannot, or you're going to run out. Don't get that in mentality. There's always ways to earn points. You just got to kind of look for the opportunity when the time comes. All right. Lesson number 5. What do you think this is? What is lesson number 5, everyone? Let me see your chat. Hey, you like this? It's very interactive. Came up with myself. Okay, where are my guesses? Guesses. International travel. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. Have faith. Have faith. It's actually a very in your face. This is a very straightforward one.
Have faith was the best answer.
Have faith.
That's
I mean,
great.
it is Easter, so it makes sense. Oh, you guys are missing the most. This is like the easiest one, folks. Get a direct answer right here. Give me the answer. Take a leap of faith. Holy Grail. There are never word flights in Brazil.
Arms wide open.
Okay. What is the name of the statue? It's called Christ the Redeemer. We're talking about redemption, everyone. Redemptions. So close enough for the features. But everyone, when you guys are looking at welcome bonuses, the welcome bonuses are anywhere from 50 to 80,000 typically. Are there some that are much higher than that? Yeah, there are. But each point is usually going to be redeemed in the portal for 1 cent per point. But if you're using for transferring for economy flights, you can get 2 cents per point. If you use it for business class, you can get 4 cents. If you use it for first class, you can get 8 cents. Are there lower and higher? Yes. But just kind of giving you an idea what you could kind of get if you do it. So redeeming points. Redeeming points for a business class, redeeming points for a first class, redeeming points for your kids, redeeming points for your kids is in business class. By the way, there's a debate sometimes like, I'm like, yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. When they sit in business class, they don't bother you. You know why? Because they got a lot of space. They eat the food. They got the headsets on. They got a movie. I mean, if you think you like it, you think the kids don't like it too? They love it too, even if they don't need all that space. But they're enjoying. They don't come bother you so much when they have their own spot. They even excited. Like, here, this is my house. That's what Naya used to say. This is my house. Okay, so set your goals. Set your goals, folks. Kevin said, I flew 4 kids in business. He was business class. That's awesome. All right. Okay. So let's take a look about redemption. So let's say you got 100,000 points from the Chase Business Inc. Preferred. What can we do with that? Let's just talk about what can we do with it. So if you spend 8,000 3 months, you're going to get 108,000 points. You spend another $15,000 that year, and you got 3x because you're for travel, you're another 45,000 points. And now you got 153,000 points, and you're ready to go on vacation. Well, if you use a portal with Chase, you'll get $1,900 worth of points. That's really good. But if you transfer to Hyatt, let's say, for example, you could spend it 50,000 night at the most expensive Hyatt, out there is 50,000 points at the Secrets and Impressions in Mochi in Playa del Carmen. And it's a 6-star hotel. You got the double vanity. You have a beautiful shower with a heated. You got a beautiful tub. Beautiful, view looking into the ocean right there. Here's the thing. That's $1,200. You can be able to do a night. You can do 3 nights like that. That's $3,600. So you can get 2.4 cent valuation on it. Instead of $1,900, now you got $3,600 worth of value when you transfer to Hyatt. Let's say you go, I don't want to stay in for just 3 nights. I want to take my family to Hawaii. If you want to take my family to Hawaii, you could do 7 nights at the Hyatt Regency Waikiki for 20,000 points a night. Okay. And that's right on Waikiki Beach looking at Duke. And if you go down 2 blocks from there, you can go, Ben, can we even go farther than that? Yeah, you can go 12 nights at the Hyatt Place Waikiki for 12,000 points a night, and you'll still have some points left over. So that's almost 2 weeks in Hawaii with just 1 credit card. You don't need a ton of credit cards when you really look at it, okay, if you wanted to stay there. So lesson number 6. What do you think lesson number 6 is? I'm ready for the answers. What are your answers, everyone? Curious.
This is hilarious.
This is most funny. This is the funniest part of my. I'm gonna do this from now on. I'm gonna just see what everybody says here. Kevin says you can stay 1 month at the Park Hyatt in Chennai. I think that's in China, right, Kevin? 150,000.
India.
Or India. There we go. Or as Kevin likes to call it, Enidia. Just kidding.
Anita.
There we go. We got the right answers now. Yes, sometimes it's
Pay
better to pay
cash.
cash. So sometimes better pay cash. Why? Because the cash rate is low. And if the cash rate is low and you have the right card, you can maximize those points. Like if you use the Chase Freedom, your points, $100 ticket is 10,000 points. $100 ticket with the preferred is 8,000 points. $100 with the reserve is 6,600 points. So you notice the higher the card, the higher the annual fee you have, which, Freedom, Preferred, and Reserve have different annual fees. You're going to get more value on points if you use a portal. And is the portal bad? I would say that you're not going to get value. Yeah, you're not going to get a higher value. You're not going to get like 2, 3, 4, 5 cent crazy value. Like, oh, unbelievable. But actually, you know what? Actually, you could. Here's the thing. There are times where there is like a mistake fare sale, and Kevin can probably speak to it, and it's available on the portal. Like you go on the portal and book it too. I've done that. I mean, I've done it where there's a mistake fare and I got business class and it was like super cheap, and I went in the portal and it was available on the portal. So I can actually use my points to book it. So it's free on top of so in those really extreme cases, yes, you could get super valuable on it, and it becomes earning points as well when you use a portal. So not always happens, but it can happen. Okay. And did I lose you, Kayla? I'm not trying to lose you, Kayla. Let's see, are you still with me? I may have lost Kayla here. All right. Lost all my new people. No, you're still there. Kayla, you're still there. Kayla, you got to tell me if I'm going too fast. Slow me down. Slow me down. I'm getting too excited here. All right. When you use a Chase Travel Portal, depending on the credit card you have, they get more value. So if you have the no annual fee card, which is at the bottom, you're going to get 1 cent per point. If you have the $95 card, you're going to get 1.25 cents per point. And if you have the $550 card, you get 1.5 cents per point. So if you're doing a lot of redemptions in the portal, then the reserve makes some sense for people. Okay. Here we go. Lesson number 7. What do you think this is? It looks similar to the other ones, but what do y'all think? What is lesson number 7 with this clue? I'm trying to be very direct with the answer. I'm not trying to trick you, folks. Nobody has the answer. Okay, let's go with the answer. Okay, reward. Somebody said rewards, fly first class. Yes. Business class point. Yes. Exactly. So, so the answer is business class, of course, or first class. I want you guys to know the difference between domestic first class, which is A, and international business class. So sometimes we say first class when we're talking about domestic first class, but domestic first class is a recliner seat, whereas B is business class, which is not even as high as first class international, but B is actually a lie flat seat, whereas A is just a recliner. So what I try to show with students is understand enough so that you understand knowing the seats is important too, because knowing the seats will make a big difference. So if you go, wow, I just redeemed for first class, but it's domestic first class, that's not the same as being able to book a lie flat seat. Okay. Same thing with if you're booking a business class seat, not only are you getting not only a better seat, but you also a bed. You also have better meals. They put it in China. You get a menu many times. You have privacy. There's doors involved, like doors. Then when you're looking at first class international, then you can upgrade to showers in the sky. Some of them have beds for you on the ground instead of sitting in the terminal. They have museums. They converted museums into lounges in Doha. You're flying Qatar. Okay. Number 8. We're down to the last two. What do we think, folks? Number 8. What is my number 8 tip?
Don't wait.
That's a good one. Let's go. Let's see.
Time is money.
Exactly. Time is money. When you look at it, here's the thing. And my last 2, 3, I'm going to tell you is probably the most important thing. I spent a lot of time reading. And not to say that you shouldn't read. It's just there's a lot to read. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of things. Many of us did it because there was nothing else. Many of us did it when there was no other tool available. There was no technology. If you go back to ask anyone, would you have wished there was a point.me? Would you wish that there was tools like that in the past? Yes. Would I wish there was but there needed to be a starting point. But with anything, and the great thing, so literally what I want to talk about is time is money. And so I want you to value your time. So there are tools like Waze, like for hotels. It is a great tool. It brings up all the hotels, Accor, Choice, Hilton, Hyatt. We just had a session the other day about it. And you can be able to see your choices, from a hotel search standpoint. And they have a free version, and then they have a paid version as well. So you could be able to go there. And if you're looking for it, there's a discount code. If you're going to use it, if you're going to get the service, just come back and check with me. I have a discount code for them. And then when it comes to airlines, we've heard a lot of them. Seats.aero, Point.me. Some of you have subscriptions to this, but I want to introduce something that I think is really, really revolutionary. And it's the reason why I brought Kevin here today, because he's introducing something that when you look at AI and what they're trying to do right now, it's a situation where what is AI? AI is supposed to predict what you're looking for and needs and make it simple for you to use. And I think Kevin's done a really good job over there. And folks, if you're not familiar with Kevin, the points analyst, he's joined us today all the way from Switzerland. I'm really happy. I mean, this is probably like almost 10 o'clock at night for him to come join me, but these are very special surprise guests today. We have, he just introduced a brand new, I know it's a calendar, but is it, Kevin, can you describe what it is, your new tool?
Yeah, and I'll pop on here so everyone can see my beautiful face. So let me just give you a little bit of a history of kind of where this tool came from. So really it came from kind of two places, going along with one of them is along the lines of what Ben was talking about, which is time is money. So I did a survey a while ago and I asked people, how much time do you spend on average searching for award space for each of your trips? And I got a couple hundred answers to it, so I feel like I had a pretty good sample size. The average, so again, this is an average, is 5 to 7 hours per trip is what people spend searching for award space. And for those of us that are very familiar with it, it's a little bit lower. For those that are less familiar with it, it's much higher. Again, 5 to 7 is the average. And so that's where I thought, hey, how can I create something that can help people find what they're looking for even faster? And the second thing, and this is how I built some of this and some of the technology and some of the data that I look for that happened is, for those of you that don't know, I have a big family. I have 4 kids. So whenever we travel as 6. And so one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest questions I get from families, especially when it comes to business class flights, is it says, hey, Kevin, I wanted to fly business class, but I can never find 4, 5, 6, whatever the number is, seats on an airplane. And it's really, really hard. And so again, that's partly linking back to the time component. And so those were the 2 questions that kind of prompted me to build this new tool that's called the Premium Passport Planner. And what the planner does is there's kind of 2 views on the same data. So depending on which one you like better, you can do different types of searches. Ben, am I able to present something live or?
Yeah, let me make host, you can be able to do it right now. Go for it.
Okay, great. So I will share my screen. So let me know when you guys can see my screen.
I see it.
Okay, perfect. So what the Premium Passport Planner does is, again, there's two views. There is an Explorer view, and then there is a calendar view. In the Explorer view, the way you can think about it is very similar to the Google Flights Explore function. So for those of you who are familiar with Google Flights, they have this Explore function, which is basically you type in your home airport and it tells you all the different places that you can travel to for cash and how much it's going to cost to travel to each of those places. So this is basically the points and miles version of that tool. So that's kind of the Explore view. And I'll just give you a quick example here. So let's say, and I think I just need to pop that up. There we go. So basically, when you look at this, there's a number of different things that you can filter on, and it'll update all the different graphics and all the different data, which I'll walk through in a second. But let's just say, hey, I want to, travel to Japan. And so I can come down here and for my airports, I can select I want to go to Haneda, which is HND, and I want to go to Narita, which is the other airport in Japan. And so what you can see just happened is the map just updated. And now you can see all the different options for where you can fly. So again, for those of us that are loosely familiar with the route maps, it's Boston, New York, Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, I think it's Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego, I think are the airports that are in scope for this. And the really cool thing about the tool is, after you make that selection, you then have all the award space listed for 365 days. So one of the challenges with search tools is every time you want to search a specific date, you have to go back and search. And then if you don't find what you want, you go back and search again. And you don't find what you want, you have to go back and search again. And so you're kind of doing these individual one-off searches constantly. The nice thing about this tool is for all the routes that we have in scope, we have 365 days of data. So if it doesn't show up in this tool, and again, this is a slightly generous statement, then the award space doesn't exist. And so it saves you the time of having to hunt and peck for the right flight and the right award space. So I can quickly say, oh, I live in Boston. What are all the different days that I could fly to Japan in business class from Boston? And so instead of having to look, I can see, okay, there's 4 days down here. There's the January 27th, February 3rd, February 29th, and February 25th. Those are the only 4 days that have the award space for Japan Airlines through the American Airlines program. It even tells you the aircraft. It tells you exactly how many points you need, how much is the taxes and fees, and how many tickets you want or how many tickets you are available for that. So the family version of this, which I kind of talked about in the beginning, and this is a really cool feature that I haven't seen anywhere else, is let's say I have a family of 4. So I can come in here under my number of tickets. I select 4. And then now the tool updates and shows me every single route in the entire world that's in the scope of this tool. So again, it's not every route that exists in all of humanity, but it's everything that's included in the tool so far. And everything that has 4 or more tickets available to fly. And so now you can come in and say, oh, well, I have a family of 4. Where are the different places that I could potentially fly to? And so you're able to very quickly see that through this map. So you can fly to India, you can fly to Abu Dhabi. This is Madrid over here. You have Taiwan, Japan, lots of different options. And again, once you decide on one of those options, you can then quickly come down and filter and see where exactly would you want to fly and what dates are available. So you're able to kind of filter with the tool and be able to find the destinations that meet your need. Another cool feature, if I come over to the calendar, is again the calendar function. And essentially what this does, and I'm just going to pick a date that I think has a bunch of dates, is it's a heat map. So when you are trying to find something, and let's say you want to travel in January 2025, this is a period that you just have some vacation you want to travel in and say, okay, well, where can I fly in January 25? And so you have this heat map. And so the darker the blue, the more available flights there are. The lighter the blue, the less available flights there are. So if I click on the 28th up here, it even tells you below that there's 39 routes. Here's all the different flights that you can take on January 29th to different places in the world. And you see you have a lot of different options. You can fly British Airways, you can fly Korean, you can fly Iberia, you can fly Singapore, you can fly American Airlines, and it basically just gives you all of the different options that you can fly on that specific date. And so it's, again, you don't have to go look for where do I want to fly? How do I find the deal? It does all that for you. And it tells you exactly what options you have on specific dates, which is, again, a really, really cool function. The other cool thing that the tool does, and this was a request when I was doing not even the beta, but like the alpha or whatever's before alpha version of this, someone said, hey, Kevin, this is great, but I'd really just like to know, I have a bunch of points, and so I know I can't use half the airlines that are in your tool, so what can I do? So you can actually select transfer partners. So let's just say you have a bunch of Capital One points. So you can come in here, you can select Capital One under your transfer partners, and then all the data, the visual up here is the calendar, as well as the data below, updates for any flights that you can book with Capital One miles. So again, another really cool feature that the tool does. And so this is a very, very quick introduction to the tool. I just want to once again thank Ben for coming in and letting me talk about this. This is still the beta version of the tool. So the space is not everything, but we're continuing to grow it. And so right now, the award programs that are in scope, again, you can even just see it up here. Alaska Airlines, American Airlines, and Singapore are the 3 award programs that are in scope. And Air France should be coming on board shortly in the near future, which is going to be huge because then it's going to be super easy to find those 50K flights to Paris or to Amsterdam, or even being able to do kind of the lesser known good redemptions like flying China Airlines from the West Coast to Taiwan, which is a great secret redemption that people don't talk about enough.
Wow.
So happy to answer any questions, Ben, or if you want to take back over, happy to.
Look, first of all, that was a lot right there. And let me just start with this. I am amazed. When I first heard about this, I was like, this is like a leap. This is a big leap. This is not a small change. This is a big leap because I think, you could definitely tell Kevin put a lot of thought into this because here's the thing. When we talk about AI, what happens a lot of times in almost the whole world of AI is you have to verbally tell it, I want you to go look for this. I want you to go look for that. And if Kevin actually just came up with even that would have been great. Like, here, go look for me if I can bring family of 4. Kevin took it to the next level. He's jumped, in my opinion, like 2 or 3 steps and said, here, why don't I show you the whole calendar? That way you don't have to ask me and verbally every single location. And then now he just showed us one where he says, can you choose a date for me and pop up all the options so in case I can go somewhere? Because many times some of you are like, I don't have a particular place, but I'll go wherever my points can take me. I'll go wherever the deal can take me. And I think this is fantastic. Now, just want to clarify. He said he has Alaska, he has American. That means, and I want to clarify for those who are new, it doesn't mean that he's only looking for Alaska airline flights. It doesn't mean he's just looking for AA flight. He's looking for what AA flights can get you and what American and what Alaska flight. So that's all the one world carriers, right? That's British Airways. That's all the one world carriers, Kevin. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, so again, not everything is in scope, but like as an example, you can do it's not just the one world ones too, because the American has the partnership with Etihad. So like it has the Etihad flights in there. You can do the Japan Airlines, looking to add obviously the Qatar Airways so that everyone can find their Q Suite deals whenever they get launched. So again, it's the beta version. It's not fully scaled, but technically anything that you could book through American Airlines, I can add to the tool. I don't want to say whenever I want to, but like it would be easy to add it to the tool. I'm just kind of pacing myself to make sure that things work, that the programs are showing up correctly, that the data is working. But all of that is kind of in scope for the future. I mean, I like you said, I kind of joke with the Alaska one because I don't think there's actually a single Alaska flight that shows up with the Alaska Award Search program.
But I just want to clarify, just for those who think it's only going to be American flights and Alaska flights,
Yeah.
it's the whole, it's what Alaska airline miles can be able to get you, which means that you can get a lot of, I mean, Alaska has a lot of non Starline, non One World partners in there as well, so that's good. And then he has Singapore, which means that you have all these Singapore partners flights in there as well. So once he puts Air France in there, Flying Blue, then he gets all the Sky Team Delta. So he's kind of missing that piece right now. But I mean, he has a lot going on right now with the three that'll get good to get started. If you folks are thinking about getting the full premium, now you need to get the full premium, right, Kevin, to have the access
Yeah.
to the calendar?
You have to get the paid version to get access to that specific tool.
And how much is the paid version? What is that?
99.
So
Right?
yeah, so the paid version is $99 per year. But Ben has a special code, the Big Ben 10, which gets you 10% off the annual subscription. And one of the unique things that I chose to do is when you get that 10% off, it's not just for the first year, it's for the lifetime that you're subscribed. So once you have that price, let's call it $89.99 with the Big Ben 10 discount, then you're locked in at that price for life. It will never change. It will never go up. No matter how many additional features or tools that I add, you will just be locked in at the $89.99 price.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
So
Kevin, I love everything you do, but I feel like I don't know if this went quickly or like what's wrong with me right now, but I'm just like I don't see the difference between this and Seats.Aero. Can you explain and help me? I just bought it. Like I'm excited. I know what you do is amazing, but I just don't see the difference right now.
Yeah, I think, that's part of where I need to, focus on kind of my own value proposition. I think the two things that I do differently are, one, it is the visualization of the flights. So it just helps people try to kind of see where they can fly, versus just seeing kind of numbers on a page. I think the second piece that I'm not super familiar with Seats.Aero, just in complete transparency, but one of the other things I think that is unique to what I do, especially compared to a lot of other searches, is when you search, I give you the number of tickets. So it's not just, hey, there's award space on a specific day. It's, hey, there's an award space and there's 5 tickets available for that day. So I think it's also a little bit the level of granularity of the data that I go into. I know that Seats.Aero has some other features around searching for specific dates, but I don't think they have 365 day views of data. So in Seats.Aero, you're going to have to do multiple searches to get to the same data that I have in a single place.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna compare them. I have the year, like I can see a year out on Seats.Aero. So you're right. I can't see the number of tickets, and I do love to see the flight pattern. That is amazing. And I love the visual is so great. I'm just it might be worth it for you to look at Seats.Aero a little bit just to know like how you're different.
Yeah.
Or what you can improve on. Because I mean, I like the site. I don't love Seats.Aero. It's all I've had. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I have that Seats.Aero doesn't have, and again, someone can correct me if I'm wrong in this, I don't think Seats.Aero has Singapore.
Correct.
So some of the airlines that I'm able to access and show are going to be slightly different.
I will say this, and this is an important note for new people. I know there's this whole conversation about going on Seats.Aero. The reason I don't bring up Seats.Aero for many people in the Points and Miles world, especially in my class early on, and I direct to Point.me originally, is because I think Seats.Aero is good for someone who has first of all, you need to know all your airport codes. You understand what, like, it's more for an intermediate to advanced user. If you're brand new, I've shown Seesaw Arrows brand new people completely lost. Completely lost. I don't know where to go, where to navigate. It's a navigation issue, I think, for a lot of people. And when we go back to time and saving, if they're confused, they're not going to use it. And so this is I think that the visualization makes it easier for people, new people who want to be able to find. I just want to find 4 seats for my family. How do I do that? What days are available? I think for new people, this is a much easier view from that perspective.
And I will say, those of you that do know me, I love feedback. It's like the greatest gift you could give me in return, and it's basically free. So if you guys have feedback as you start using the tool and there's things that you think I could be doing better, if there's different visuals of the data you'd like to see, I kind of jokingly say the visualization is the easy part. It's getting the data that's the hard part. So if there's other things that you want to see, I mean, I jokingly say the 15 data fields that I show as part of the tool are only a small subsegment of the entire data that I have access to. So there's actually probably 40 or 50 data fields in the back that I didn't think would be the most valuable ones. And so I have, chosen the ones that I think are going to add the most value to people using the tool. But again, if there's other views or other data, adding them is actually pretty easy. So again, feedback.
Maybe check
give me
the
feedback.
chat because there's some good feedback in the chat right now.
Yeah, no, I'm noting all that down. I'm just saying in general, if there's other things as people start using it, just send it to me, please.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the
Also,
time.
I don't think Ben would mind me saying this, because he's always like advocating for like what gets us the most value. You have a special sale today besides Ben's, right? Like where you're offering something pretty cool to the first 30 people.
Yeah. Yes, I am. So Ben, I'm not sure if you want me to talk about that or not.
Go for it.
Yeah. So today there is a special sale. The seats are actually almost completely, or the slots, I should say, are almost completely taken. And the sale is basically you get the 10% discount. But in addition to that, I'm throwing in a free award search as part of the sale. So in addition to the 10% discount, you get 1 free award search that I will do on your behalf. And that's included in the sale price. And so only the 30 people that sign up today will be able to get that specific deal.
Can we use Ben's code or do we have to use the Easter code?
You have to use the Easter code just because it's how I track it. Otherwise, I won't be able to know who does it.
Sure.
You can get the Easter code. Go for the Easter code, folks, until he's about to be closed out on that. So let's support him.
Yeah.
After that, you guys can do the 10.
Exactly. So I just type the code in the thing. So that's the code. If you want to use it, definitely sign up ASAP, because the slots are almost completely filled.
All right. Is this live already, Kevin?
Yes. So anyone that signs up, so if you signed up right now, you would have access to this tool immediately.
And you say Air France is coming. When do you think that'll be?
If you had asked me last Wednesday, I would have said Friday. And so here we are on Sunday and it's still not live. So I don't like making any commitments because with some of this technology stuff, you often are wrong. And so I will announce it to people. It should be in the near future. So I'm hoping, again, with a timeline that no one is allowed to hold me to within the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you very much again. Appreciate Kevin. Thank you. On Easter, he joins us, and on the day that he's launching the tool, we appreciate you joining us, Kevin, for this. Please go follow him too. Should they be following your points analyst page, or should they follow the premium passport page, or both?
Both.
Okay. Both. Yeah. Can you put your Instagram accounts in the chat again as well, Kevin? So
I will. I'll do it right here. So
all right. So folks, lesson number 8, which is use technology to help you save time. Instead of you spending all your days looking for flights, use tools and that we have or available to you to save time, because nobody needs to go spend extra time than you don't need to if it's already there and it's readily available. Okay, let's move on to number 9, everyone. What do you think number 9 is? We're down to my last 2. Anyone, let's see what you got think. What is number 9? Number 9 tip. Okay, first class, everyone. Premium cabins. Let's talk about that. Elite status. So my number 9 is earn elite status. Here's the thing. I know in the world of points and miles, there's this idea that, well, if you don't travel a lot, you don't need elite status. Here's the thing. If you're coming to my class, if you're coming regularly, I can't imagine you're going to ignore free upgrades. You want to ignore free seat selection. You want to ignore free bags, because when you have elite status, you get those things. If the only way you don't get it and you don't need it is if you book business class. But how many times are you really going to book? Are you really going to fly business class every single flight? Probably not. So when you do fly economy and you had status, you can be able to do it. Now, don't you have to fly a lot, Ben, to get elite status? Yes, some programs you have to fly, and there are some programs you don't. And so there's some programs that if you get it, you can match it and go to competitor and ask them to match it, and they'll match it, and now you extended your status a little longer. Some of them through credit cards. So to ignore that whole world, I think is a mistake. I think we come to learn think about this. Some people are just happy to get a free room, right? I got a free room. What if you do free room and free breakfast and free late checkout and early check-in and extra rollaway bed? Wouldn't that be better? So, I mean, we can waive resort fees, waive parking. All these things are things that we can learn when you have status. When you get to the airport, checking a bag. If you check a bag, there's a line. If you have status, you go right up to the line. They have a special line just for you. You go to the special security line. They escort you. There's a lot of little things there that you can have. And then this is what we were talking about. Remember we were talking about Alaska right now a second ago? This is going back to Kevin's. When you have Alaska miles, you can book any one of these airlines. And if you have Singapore, you can book any of these airlines because Singapore can book all of them. And then now he's going to, and then so you can actually book on one and fly on the other. If you want to learn more, we'll talk about that in class. And then you can use your miles to book a flight like the ANA, but you don't have to use ANA miles. You can use United miles. You can use Air Canada miles, Aeroplan miles to book the same flight. Okay. And sometimes, depending on who you book with, maybe less. So the same flights on ANA could be 60,000 economy, or it could be 48,000 in economy. It's up to you which one you use. And when he adds on Air France, KLM, we'll have all SkyTeam. So that's what we're talking about. Okay. Okay, number 10. What's number 10, everyone?
Ben knows everybody. Don't do business without Ben.
Okay, that's that's 6 times. That's the best. Kevin, you win. You win. That's the best, Kevin. I'm not. What do we have? All right. The answer is network, everyone. Network. Why do I tell you guys come out to see me at the Travel Summit? Why do I tell you to come a freaking traveler? Why do I tell you to come to meet our meetup? Why do I come out to meet people in person? Because I want you to be there, and then I will introduce you to these people. Why? Because they have a certain knowledge base. Whether it be Julia from GeoBreathe, whether it be Jet Alberts come to speak to us. I'm going to be speaking at Prince of Travel's event. We haven't had Carmen come speak to us about being a travel influencer. But whether it be Kevin Song or Carolina Lupini, who this lady here, she's the editor for Forbes Travel. Kevin here is our former Hyatt employee and probably the most, knows everything that goes on in every rule and term and condition on Hyatt that you could probably, like I go to Kevin sometimes when I have a problem. Then you got Nick here from Frequent Miler, who runs that. And then to Nitra, she speaks all at all the travel shows here. And then I was there on the first day. This is the very first transaction that the build card that Richard had with the it was the launch of the card. He launched it first time. That was the very first transaction. I was there when they did the very build program. So folks, build your network. That's why you come do the mentorship. You build your network first of all, then you come out and meet me in person. So it's a whole process I want you to learn. Okay, my bonus on the top 10, what do you think that is? Now my bonus lesson, everyone.
Take the class. Oh, keep learning. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, yes, yes. My last session here. Find a mentor, get advice, training, help you. Because here's the biggest problem that we have is that in the world of points of miles, it is quite lonely. It is you're doing it all on your own. And if you can be able to be involved in the community and someone to lead the community, that's going to help you be able to do better when it comes to points of miles. I have my master class. It's coming up literally next week on April 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12. I encourage you, if you haven't taken already, you come. If you are considering it, I will be teaching it live just like this. And you'll have the slide deck as well. You'll have the ability to come. It is 4 days. It will start on the 8th. So it's 8 hours with me. And we'll cover everything that you really need to know when it comes to points and miles. I'm just going to let you know here, the class is $697. We'll talk about how to earn points regularly, credit card strategies, trip planning, earning elite status, VIP lounge access, the escort. By the way, every time I read VIP escort, it just sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. April 8th, 9, and 10, 11. This is the schedule and what it looks like for the Airline Academy. It'll be Monday on 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I will teach it live. The recording will also be available. Slide deck will also be available as well. And you're also invited to come back and take the class. If you're here today, it's only for today only. If you came today, I have a special discount code for you. It's called Top 100, not just Top 10, but I'm gonna give you $100 off. But that ends tonight at 11:59. So the $697 will be $597. You need to register for today. All right. And for any of you who are the intermediate folks, I invite you also to come to the mentorship. If you sign up today as well, you'll also get the mentorship for the first month for free. So April's all free. That includes you coming to our Thursday night class, which will have Tom Kim. This particular week, we'll also have the next week, we'll have not that week, but on the 18th, we'll have the Miles couple. We'll talk about Air France Flying Blue and their favorite routes and some of their favorite cabins and how to find them. And then we'll also talk about Qatar's Q Suite as well. So Qatar's Q Suites, you'll have access to that in the mentorship. And then you'll also be able to come also to our Sunday morning meeting, which we have in the morning. And I know Catherine loves those. On Sunday mornings, we'll have Q&A. You basically ask me any question you want. We go through whether it be points, miles, hotels, airlines. And then you'll also be involved in the group chat that we have for the mentorship as well, which will have a lot of deals that'll pop up as it goes. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? We'll put in the chat. I appreciate you all coming. Yeah. Jennifer, I've used those escort service at the airport. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Let me put in the link for the class if you're looking at coming. I'm gonna put that in here. And I'll send it out. Does anyone have any question? Was this good, Harlan? Kevin, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you. I hope you have a successful launch, by the way, as well tonight. Let us know if you ever can come back. Love to hear whatever other enhancements you have. You're always welcome. Kevin, you should be a comedian. I love it. By the way, Kevin, I love that we're getting to see you now on your Instagram channel.
So my wife is actually really happy too, because I shave a lot more often now that I have to be public on Instagram.
What made the change for you? I'm curious.
Oh, I figured I needed to just show my face a bit more. Nothing too mind blowing.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming out. Tam, thank you for joining. Kevin, Prejo, I know you came a little bit late, but I will send out a recording for those who missed the earlier part of this. If you have any questions about class or the mentorship, feel free to have it. Oh yeah, Kevin, Jennifer asked the same question. I thought about it, it slipped my mind. How often does your information refresh? So if I check right now, how often do I have to check again before I see something new? How often does it cache? Is he still here? Oh no. I'll find an answer for him. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can ask him right now. That was my same question. I forgot about it as well. Okay, I'm waiting for an answer from him. So if you want to hang tight, Jennifer, you can hang tight. Question, anyone? Ann says, my oldest card is Southwest since 2019. Can I downgrade that and get the Southwest priority card instead? I can't close it. It's the oldest. The next one's my panel. You can downgrade it. You can downgrade it to a $39 card. And then you apply for another card if you want. There's actually multiple cards. And I would actually consider, if you're going to open Southwest, I would consider opening a personal and a business. If you have a significant other or you have a P2, I would consider getting Companion Pass and getting both a personal and a business, so that way you could get to Companion Pass. Yeah. Have you been to one of my masterclass, Ann? Yes? I'm not sure which Ann this is. Oh, okay. Well, we start on the 8th and you offer a discount. So I'd love to have you if you'd like to join. Anyone else? Tracy, you have any questions? Anything we covered? Okay, she says it depends on, he says it depends on the source. It could be a day, every day it updates, or it could be up to 3 days. So this is so here's the way I look at the tool right now. I think it's a good place to go and search. And then if you have another tool, like you have Point.me, if you have another one, it nails it down to it so that you can be able. So I don't know if it's the end all be all that you end all of the subscriptions to use it, but I definitely say if you have the other tools, to keep the other tools and then use this to start and see what, if you're flexible, and then go from there to the specific tool like Point.me or Seats.arrow. Okay. But anything that helps, sometimes you can find good deals with that. Especially for multiple seats, that's huge. Let me see. I'm gonna close.